Grace and peace, everybody. We are back. You saw the thumbnail, you saw the title. You've heard this discussion about Frank Turek calling out Candace Owens and her conspiracies, saying that they're hurting and damaging marriages. Well, of course, friend of the channel, Ruslan KD, discussed this, and I thought he did an excellent job. So I want to bring this in, and let's talk about it. So with no further ado, Ruslan, get on up here to the front of the church, sir. Let's go, let's go.
Turek, Candace Owens, back and forth. You guys ask me, why do I care? Why are you talking about Candace Owens? Ruslan, did you get your $7,000 check? I talk about this stuff. I care about this stuff because if I could prevent some of you guys from being absolutely brainwashed and programmed in this stuff, it could potentially save some marriages, okay? And that's what we're seeing here. Help conspiracy theories are ruining my marriage. You're gonna see how Candace waves this away here in a second, but this is absolutely insane. This is happening. And this is someone that's dealing with real life consequences. I've always said, hey, you can have fun with some of this stuff in terms of the Nephilim and, you know, that sort of stuff, aliens. But when it starts to impact your marriage, like you're cooked, like you're far gone. And so hopefully us talking about this, us explaining how absolutely insane some of this stuff is, can prevent some of you guys from going down this rabbit hole. This is Frank Turek. Help conspiracy theories are ruining my marriage. 37 questions to consider.
Your work has strengthened my faith and helped me answer difficult questions. I'm writing because I'm at a point of desperation, and I'm hoping you might offer some biblical wisdom or practical advice. My wife and I are both Christians, but over the past several months, she has become deeply influenced by Candace Owens' recent content regarding you, Israel, and a number of broader conspiracy-related topics. She has come to believe that you are dishonest and you are a false teacher, and even that you are involved in criminal wrongdoing.
This is absolutely insane. Okay?
Right.
From the moment the tragedy of the Charlie Kirk assassination happened, people started saying that Frank Turek was involved in on it because he was scratching his ear while he was standing aside. And that was the cue to have the shooter take him out. Like, disgusting, disgusting, especially as someone that knows Frank personally. And I've known Frank for quite a number of years. He's a friend of the channel's. His work, I think, stands for itself.
Absolutely.
Absolutely insane.
She also believes that there are vast hidden forces controlling world events, governments, media, and churches.
The danger in this, and Candace has said it outright, LOL to the idea of meritocracy, okay? LOL to the idea of you being able to get ahead. The idea that there's forces that are controlling and orchestrating every world event positions you by proxy as a victim of the system with no agency, no ability to change your situation, no ability to improve your day-to-day life, no ability to improve your legacy, change your trajectory, any of those things. You're just a victim because of the Jews or whoever, Israel, Zionists, fill in the blank. It's absolutely awful logic. And people who often believe this stuff succumb to this fatalistic, nihilistic worldview and perpetually become victims, right? So it's like, not only is this dangerous and harmful to people's mental health, not only is it dangerous to people's marriage, it's dangerous to your own ability to make something worthwhile and fruitful of your life. If you just view the world through this oppressor-oppressed paradigm, which is a leftist idea, and now the oppressor is the Jews, and you are now subservient to them because they pull all the puppet strings with the Zionists and the lizard people, you're cooked, like you're fried. And so I don't care who it is. I've been pretty consistent on this sort of stuff. It is dangerous. Now, am I saying conspiracies don't exist? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. But once upon a time, they were at least semi-intelligent. Now they're just incoherent and asinine.
From everything I've studied over the years, I've reached a very different conclusion. I continue to believe you are sincerely serving Christ through apologetics. Well, I don't think any human being is beyond criticism.
Right.
No, I'm certainly not. I have not seen credible evidence to support the accusations that are being made against you.
Right.
What concerns me most isn't simply that we disagree. It's that these beliefs have become central to our conversations and are creating an ever-widening divide in our marriage. Almost every discussion eventually returns to these subjects, and it's increasingly difficult to have peaceful conversations. Let me pause right here.
Every discussion, his wife is so terminally online that she can't have a conversation without it all coming back to this nonsense, and particularly apparently attacks on Frank Turek as a person.
And this is one of the problems, and I've brought this up before. Why is it that there are no sound biblical teachers that are following after Candace Owens? And now notice Candace Owens is going after a sound, faithful biblical teacher. This is a problem, and I agree with Ruslan. And I agree with him 100%. Also, I did a video, and I'll try to leave the link up here, where Caleb Hammer, the guy that does financial audits, like a real modern day Dave Ramsey, right? He does financial audits, and he was doing an audit with that couple. Y'all remember this video where the woman was steeped in Candace Owens conspiracies, and the husband says something very, very, I guess, ominous. If you're looking at this video in light of that video now, he says, "This is messing up our marriage." He said it. And this is a Caleb Hammer. This is not a Christian shill. This is not some Zionist website. He was saying it to Caleb Hammer. Now play what Frank Turk is saying and just tell me that Frank Turk is making it up. Let's go. Let's finish this up.
This is insane.
Reminds me of the proverb that talks about one of the things God hates, and that's someone who causes dissension among the brothers. I've tried listening carefully. I've tried asking questions instead of arguing. I've tried examining the evidence together. None of it seems to help.
Right.
The more evidence I present, the more convinced she becomes of the evidence itself as part of the deception. It's like, there's no way of winning here, right?
Yeah. Because then it's AI and the feds and the government and the devil. So even when there's evidence presented at trial, which, by the way, the defense of Tyler Robinson hasn't used a single Candace Owens conspiracy talking point, not a single one. If she's so right that his own defense team isn't even utilizing any of the stuff she's talking about, that she's poking holes at the narrative and getting to the bottom of it, not one. Well, then by proxy, that means that they're in on it too.
Right. Like,
so then
you cooked either way.
Tyler Robinson's going to confess. Maybe he'll take a plea deal. Then he's in on it too. Then everyone's in on it, and you can't falsify this stuff. That's the issue with this sort of thinking.
Very smart.
In fact, if you think that all evidence is part of the conspiracy, there's no way of getting outside of that to show that the conspiracy isn't true. There's no way of unfalsifying that. That's the problem. Or falsifying that, I should say.
Right.
As Christians, we're called to seek truth, to test everything, and to remain humble.
Come on.
I'm struggling to know how to do that while also preserving my marriage. I'm not writing you to ask you to defend yourself personally. Rather, I'm asking how a Christian husband should respond when someone he loves becomes convinced of claims that seem resistant to evidence or meaningful dialogue.
Right.
How do I continue loving my wife well without constantly arguing or silently affirming ideas that I sincerely believe are false? I've also wondered whether there can be a spiritual component to this kind of situation. Scripture speaks about deception, discernment, and spiritual warfare. But I want to be careful not to simply label someone I love. I don't want to respond with pride or anger. I want to respond with truth, grace, patience, and wisdom. Man, this lady has a very thoughtful husband. Let's just say that.
Amen.
He goes on to say, our marriage is under real strain because of these differences. And I honestly fear where this could lead if we cannot find a healthier way to communicate. If you happen to read this and have a few minutes to offer advice, or someone on your team could point me toward a message, article, or resource that addresses situations like this, I would be sincerely grateful. Thank you again for your faithful ministry.
Turn off the internet.
Bless and strengthen you and use your work to draw people to Christ. Excellent question and a hard problem here.
Okay, before we get into some of Frank Turek's response, we got to look at Candace Owens just absolutely waving this away. New level of propaganda unlocked.
Yeah, watch
crying emoji, laughing face. This is how sick this woman is. There are people being negatively impacted. Their marriages are being negatively impacted because of this slop that she's putting out there. And her response to any degree of criticism or any, hey, you're bringing harm, is to just dismiss it and call it propaganda. Someone responded, more Darvo, Candy. I know what you're doing and you're not a victim. You malignant narcissist. You are a sociopath. Someone said, you really don't care about all the damage you're doing to people's lives, do you? There's nothing funny about this, Candace. You're destroying people's lives with your reckless conspiracy rhetoric. The fact that you find it amusing while families, friendships, and even marriages are being torn apart is honestly sick. Candace is proud that she is destroying marriages, reputations, and lives of innocent people as a malignant. I don't know what that word means, malignant narcissist. I don't want to diagnose people, but it does seem to keep coming up for people that there's narcissistic tendencies here at the very least. She sadistically relishes people's failures. She is ecstatic that she has enormous power and control over easily impressionable, low IQ people. It's all about her. She is the cause of everything going on around her. She is the alpha and omega, the beginning and the end. No mistake about it. She thinks she is a god. Candace Owens, has been 211 days since you said you would post a corrected interactive timeline of the Egyptian plains. You still haven't posted. You guys all forgot about the Egyptian plains narrative.
I haven't forgotten.
This is her callous response, not just on Twitter, but on her show.
That's good. I like this level. You know, I actually, I wasn't going to do it, but I too had a letter written into the show that I'd like to read. It says, Dear Candace, You are very beautiful and wonderful and perfect and profound. And me and my husband have come together closer since watching your show. We are closer than we've ever. We were on the brink of divorce, and then we started watching your.
You're not dealing with the reality that people are consuming this and it's bringing harm. It's just all a game to her.
If you watch the podcast or something, honest with you, Frank, you just come across as a fraud, right?
Wow.
This is pure projection. This is absolute projection. This is, oh my God, this is gonna be so. Oh, I'm telling you, whenever there's this much hubris, when the descent comes, oh, it's gonna be poetic. It's gonna be poetic. I mean, you guys see what happened to Alex Jones after him claiming that the Sandy Hook situation was
Come on.
all staged, and then him losing, and like he's become a shell of himself, right? Minus that moment with Sneeko, that was pretty good. But this is so sad that like she's just projecting at this point.
Just a Christian fraud, selling Christianity, but actually trying to socially engineer people. And you're a part of, like I said, that movement of Christian pastors who hail from literal military operations designed to target
What
Christians.
are you talking about?
Literal.
Because that was and is still a thing. And your job is to persuade gullible evangelicals that it is their biblical duty to follow their governments into the pits of hell. It is about control. And you say, I'm a doctor and I do Christian apologetics. And the Charlie Kirk story has exposed you all.
Man.
Pure projection. Oh man, this is I think this entire thing has broken her brain.
No, I agree with Ruslan 1,000%. And I think Frank Turek's commentary was actually on point, because notice this man reached out to him and said, hey, I want to love and support my wife. I want to help her out in this situation. If you replace Candace with drugs, if you replace Candace with corn, if you replace Candace with any other kind of vice, I guarantee you nobody would be batting an eye. The problem is Candace has become a god to many of these people. Candace has become the face that has ruined 1 million marriages, the face that's launched 1,000 wars, whatever you want to call it. She's become all of those things that are to her cult, to Cantifa. And honestly, she's missing the point of Turek's reading of that. She's missing the point, is that this man wants support in his marriage. Candace can't even see that because she's so full of hatred. And dare I say, she's unregenerate. I'm going to finish this up, but this is outstanding. I am going to leave the link to that video of Caleb Hammer in speaking with that couple down in the description, and probably somewhere on here as well. But let's keep this going. Let's go.
And that's the saddest part about all of this, is that this has absolutely broken her brain.
Yeah.
This is someone that needs treatment, in my opinion, and her audience needs treatment. The people that are buying into this sort of stuff need treatment. So, yeah, at this point, I just feel bad for her. Okay, let's see Frank Turek's response to this poor gentleman dealing with this nonsense.
I like this man's attitude that he wants to love his wife, but he's wondering how can he deal with his wife, who seems to be immune.
I mean, just even cutting back and forth, like her temperament, the facial expressions, right, to his temperament, his tone, the way he's speaking. I mean, ears to hear, eyes to see, I guess. Like, if you think that Candace Owens is the one with Jesus, you need to really check your discernment and wisdom levels.
Evidence that no matter what evidence you give someone, it's to them, it's more evidence of some sort of conspiracy.
Right.
There's no way to falsify that belief. So maybe what I did is I sent him a bunch of questions that he might want to ask and then sincerely listen about. And maybe some of these questions can help you think through what's been going on. And if you're at odds with somebody you love who is on a different side of this, maybe these questions can help. I don't know. I'll just offer them. One question I might ask immediately is, what evidence would you need to see to know that the conspiracy you believe in is false?
Yeah,
there we go.
I ask this question all the time. What would it take to show you that the evidence is? What would you need to see?
This is a great question. I'm gonna back up just a little smidgen. I don't want to be long on this one, but that question that Frank asked is a brilliant question. What do you need to see in order to join this side? What do you need to see in order to agree with this? And you'll be surprised some of the things that people will say, because they don't exact the same amount of evidence for anything else. They don't. They will want all of this evidence, 4K video of Tyler Robinson, but you ask them to say, okay, well, what about XYZ ABC that has happened in history, or something even happened in your own life? You don't have that same amount of evidence, and they're okay with that. It's crazy work. This is an excellent, excellent question.
Maybe these questions can help. I don't know. I'll just offer them. One question I might ask immediately is, what evidence would you need to see to know that the conspiracy you believe in is false?
Yeah, I ask this question all the time. What would it take to show you that the evidence is? What would you need to see? Was it when the jury finally finds Tyler guilty?
Right.
Would that suffice it? And the more you pull on that thread, you discover that some people, there's no amount of evidence. So then there's nothing else for us to talk about. If there's no amount of evidence, there's nothing to discuss at this point.
What evidence would you need to see?
Yeah.
Because look, if Tyler Robinson really did murder Charlie Kirk and he acted alone, the evidence that you saw in the pretrial hearing is quite damning.
There you go.
Is all that evidence the product of a conspiracy? I would just ask that question. Let me go to some of the questions that I specifically sent him. And I'll start with this one. Remember, he's asking this to his wife.
Mm-hmm.
So you might say, honey, if someone murdered me, your husband, would you want Candace to treat you the way she's treating Erica?
Perfect question.
And just see what she says. Now, she may go into this big...
And you might need to make it personal. You know, hey, Bob is my frat brother. You know, Sally is my sister. And say, would you want Bob, Sally, Tommy, or Paul to treat you like Candace is treating Erica? Would you want them to do that? And the person that you feel confident deleted me, literally campaigning for that person, would you want that? Like, I'm sorry. That is a great question. Shout out to Frank.
And about how Candace is looking for justice. And then forget all that for just a second. Let's just concentrate on Erica.
Right.
Erica Kirk, the widow. Why is she insinuating that Erica Kirk and her organization is complicit? What evidence does she have for that?
Make it personal. I'm still going to make it personal. Erica, you, honey, would you want Candace to treat you like she's treating Erica? You know, I got this little small landscaping business. I got this little tech firm that I started. Do you want her to treat you and the kids like she's treating Erica and her kids and the company that Charlie built, the company that I built? Would you want that? And be honest. Forget about the justice part. Just the way that she's treating you. Erica, you become Erica Kirk. Would you want that to be the case? That is an excellent question.
To that, almost immediately after the murder, would you want her to jump to you almost immediately after the murder? Second question. If God forbid Candace's husband was murdered, would Candace want Erica to treat her that way? Number three, if you witnessed a murder of your friend and best student, as I did, would you want Candace to treat you like she's treating Frank and Charlie's other friends? Number four, are you presuming people are innocent until proven guilty? By the way, I'm just offering questions here. I may make a few statements, but it's just questions.
I think we should also bring in the fact of, are we lying on people? Are we spreading false narratives? Because that's biblically in error to do such. So not only are we the innocent until proven guilty, which I agree with, but also we are like, we're going ahead and walking out these false narratives without any justification. I think this is great, Frank. Keep it up, man.
Questions to think about. Number five, what's the only way we can achieve justice? Is it by speculation or by evidence?
Good question.
Number six, what are the three motives for any crime or any sin? There's only three major categories of motives. What are they? I'll offer an answer here. It comes from 1 John chapter 2, verses, I want to say 15 and following. All that's in the world is the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life.
Yep.
Sex, money, and power are the three great motives for any crime. So if you're going to suggest that someone's guilty of a crime, you've got to find one or more of those three motives. We've talked about that at length on this program. Number seven, what motive did any of Charlie's friends and employees at TPUSA have to even want Charlie dead?
Can we, well, hold on.
Power for wanting him dead?
We got to stop on that. And we got to stop and you got to push back and ask these people. People will tell you in a heartbeat that Erica Kirk got millions and millions of dollars from Charlie Kirk's death. Ask them to prove it. When you tell them that Charlie Kirk's life insurance policy was sub $1 million they look like real bona fide bozos. But even more than that, like tell them, say, hey, explain this to me. She has a husband who's walking alongside her. He's doing these great things, providing for her and the kids. But she wants to delete the husband so she can take control of the company. Now she has less time with the kids, less time to do the things that she was doing because she wanted what? What did she get from it? And leave it. Don't even challenge them and don't even interrupt them. I mean, just say, and what? And let them talk. Well, she wanted power. Why? She had the power when Charlie was running the ship. Matter of fact, she had more power because then Charlie was taking all the brunt and she was moving behind. So why would she want to do that? Make it make sense. Like, no, and make them answer those things because they are bona fide clowns. Let's finish up. This is great.
He was their friend and very effective leader. Number 8, what motive does Candace have to do what she's doing?
Everything.
I'm not judging her motives. I'm just asking the question.
Money. Lots
Power.
of money.
Power.
Essentially $100 million, $50 million.
Power.
Yeah. If you actually look at what the CPMs are, you look at the ads, the number of ads, you look at the number of views, the super chats. Wouldn't surprise me one bit if she hasn't cleared $100 million on this.
Number 9. Look, I'm just asking questions here, ladies and gentlemen. Number 9, why do eyewitnesses differ on details about almost every event, especially traumatic events like murders? And number 10, are differences always lies? If you want the answer to that, ladies and gentlemen, listen to the podcast we did last week when I responded to specific Candace Owens conspiracy theories, because differences are not always lies. Number 11, the differences among the eyewitnesses prove the eyewitnesses were involved in the murder or that a conspiracy exists. If that were the case, every single crime would be a conspiracy because eyewitnesses always differ on the details. That shows their authenticity. They didn't get
That's even an argument for why the Gospels are reliable.
together to iron out all the details. People notice
And
different things.
I actually asked somebody that this week about the Gospels, and one, why the 4 Gospels don't line up beat for beat. But even more than that, do you take the evidence from the Gospels and the evidence of Christ's life, death, burial, and resurrection and ascension to the right hand of the Father? Do you take that as authentic? And they will. But I'm like, you have more evidence than Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk than you have what you just said about your faith. But you're okay with your faith. Why are you not okay with Charlie Kirk or Tyler Robinson? And let them sit there. Let them stew in that craziness.
They notice when, especially in a traumatic event, they may notice certain things and they may not notice others. They may focus in on certain things. Number 12, what are the requirements necessary to pull off a successful conspiracy? Conspiracies do occur, but what are the requirements to pull off a successful one? If you want to know the answer, J. Warner Wallace in his book, Cold Case Christianity, talks about some of the requirements to pull off a successful conspiracy. Normally, it's got to be, I'll just mention a couple of them, not all of them. It's got to be a small group of people because the bigger group of people, the more likely you're not going to be able to hold the lie together. Secondly, it's got to be people, or it's better if people are more closely related because you're not going to rat out your mom or your dad or your brother or your sister.
I'm narking at my
You
mom.
can't have a lot of pressure. If you have a lot of pressure, somebody's going to break.
Yeah. Shout out to Frank Turek, man. I'd love that he's responding to this. I think the way Candace responds to this is absolutely insane and cringe. And I feel bad for her, and I pray for her. So I think you should be praying for her too, because I don't think this ends well. I think this ends really bad for her, and I don't know how that goes, but I think, man, if not on this side of eternity, on the next side of eternity,
Oh, no question,
is going to be called to give an account, and this is scary stuff. So let me know your thoughts. Hey, real quick,
Shout out to Ruslan. I really appreciate him. I appreciate him addressing that. And shout out to Frank Turek for, remaining on this topic and keeping the main thing that we have to present the gospel and we have to present an effective witness. I appreciate it for sure. Let me know what you think about this. This is going to be a one and done members only video. I'm going to go ahead and drop it. Not doing any edits. We're just going to go ahead and check it out. Hopefully I didn't make any mistakes or hiccups throughout the day. But I do appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the JWhit Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.